Okay, I think we are live. I will just check once. Yes, so we are live right now. And thank you. Hello, everyone. Namaste. Myself, Saurav. And today we are once more here at the Saturday Live. And today we have Indiraji with us. Uh, Indiraji, I know Indiraji for quite some time now. She is from Bangalore, working with her own educational institute, Avik Off-Campus Academy, and few more ventures as well, which we'll come to know. But as I know her, I have got a lot of help from her in many different ways. I have seen her interacting with a lot of people. I have seen her helping a lot of people when it comes to understanding education, when it comes to parenting, and she has been very warm-hearted and very open-minded to accept new things for discussion and to experiment with a lot of things. And today we have the chance to talk with her, know her in a better way, and also about her activities. So, Indraji, welcome to a Saturday live with the homeschooling community. And before we start, I would like to know more about you, and please tell us about yourself so that we can understand who you are, from where you are coming from.
Namaste all. I'm Indraa Raju. Uh, there is a story behind every person. There is reason why they are the way they are. So I'm no different. I have my own story and my own reasons uh, to tell more about my experience in education. I would like to say, as a child, disinterested and disconnected with academics, I was always the front runner with hands on learning. Scores or degrees did not excite me as much it did while working with NGOs and groups from diverse perspectives of lives. I have been very lucky to be pushed into challenging situations in my personal life and to come out of my comfort zones at different times in my life. This really helped me evolve with creative solutions and find my own path and resolve issues in a very meaningful way. The exposure I received with my active association with Ramakrishna Mutt nourished my soul, and it is this spiritual culture that makes me feel connected to my roots and be able to balance life as it comes my way. Mm, So, to me, learning begins in the womb and continues even after death. So, when learning is kind of defined that it has to be learned only in a classroom, that is something which always questions me. To me, education is something that leaves a lasting impression of our existence and empowers us with confidence. Each one must be given an opportunity to identify one's own unique learning style. Like I discovered that I'm a visual learner from people and things around me. Formal education system, rote learning methodologies, I feel it has now become redundant and more of a liability to future well-being than application, whatever we have learned and translating that into knowledge in our life. Hence, I said the need for the change we are all looking for. So I feel that's how I was inspired. Generally, we complain about a lot of things in our life. The system is not good. The schooling system is not good. The government system is not good. The food system is not good. uh, but that we I used to see those complaining aspects, complaining minds from my childhood. So but then everybody were there in the mode of complaining. Who will take up this, who will take up the responsibility of bringing that change? That always was something which was there in my mind. So that questioning is something has brought me here, and want to do whatever possible uh, and contribute to the society. So I am a go-getter person. I don't like complaining. Instead, I always say, let's find solution. Let's find solution, and work with people, work with like-minded people, whatever possible, without having any defined outcome. That's all I can say for now.
Okay, and we would also like to know about your homeschooling journey. We know that you have been a homeschooling mother. So, how it started? I mean, from where it started and where is it right now, and what are your observations during this entire journey?
Yeah. As I said, generally we complain, but we don't take up the challenge to bring in any changes. The same problem I had when I saw the issues in the education system. I felt instead of complaining about it, let me take up the challenge. So I said the need for the change we are all looking for, all of you from homeschooling group. I think that is one thing everybody will think about homeschooling. So, to talk more about it, let me put this question to get the context and clarity: why, what, and how. First, let's go with answering the questions that I had, like why homeschooling. That is first thing. Generally, why we get into homeschooling or unschooling or road schooling or whatever. So, this thought homeschooling all started with my journey when I began with what the journey began with my daughter's schooling and my parallel working in mainstream schools as a facilitator for life skills. This experience led me to observe situations. Learning happens in conscious or in unconscious states. Yet, real learning happens when it is applied, and that is knowledge. My observations were in the school when I was working as a facilitator, and in my daughter's life. Sharing feelings was sidelined, no productive engagement after school hours, helicopter parenting, parental anxiety to society norms like marks, percentage, and also in other activities, whatever activities children are used to participate, they only look at the outcome, only look at the performance. It's not that how much the child is liking and learning. And parenting, shadowing and do it one way, and pure rivalry, because of the participation and competition. Growth was limited to marks, grades, and there was no thought towards skill based learnings, towards nation building, which is really needed, much needed. I think nation building thought process should be, it uh, should be, should be, I mean, children should be aware of all those things when they are getting to get. Not, it should not be focused only on the marks. I think when they are clear, when they are in the primary level itself, they should all think about the contribution to the nation. Heads, management, facilitators knew the reality, yet did not have the courage to execute and take the learning forward. Though they knew that this is not working, no, they knew that children are not liking these things, but they were not able to take a stand on it, because and everybody used to pass on the thing saying that the management has to cooperate, or the principals used to complain on the teachers, and teachers complain on the principal. It's like uh, kind of a football. So, in the current system, we lack leaders and decision makers and people who are courageous to take this initiative to move forward. The process turned its interest to high level thinking, and the real power of education took backstage. It was more of luxury, more of a fantasy, more of a this college, that college. I need to get a seat in this school. I need to get a seat in this college, this institution. After my son completes his 10th of PU, I want him to go to an international college. go to this college. The thought process is entirely different than the real definition of education. The real need for education turned into a more of a celebration. Again, I can say, so I could not change the ongoing system. So I felt it's too challenging. So I decided to take things into my own hand and build the possibility of homeschooling, wherein I felt that if I bring in some change with my in my house with my child, maybe that will help. So coming back to what I was looking for after I decided why homeschooling, then I had to kind of reflect and ask for myself actually what I was looking for. So after realizing the need, I had to identify what do I really want with making the change. I was looking for experiential learning, a holistic approach, and not just proven intelligence. I wanted to create learning in an unfamiliar setting and challenge them and their comfort levels, which would allow them to find solutions on their own and build their survival skills. Now, recently we saw COVID, and now we have to, I don't know what all we have to face. Now, you know what is happening. Currently, the war which is happening, the children, how they're suffering, and our Indians who are there. Have we even trained them to how to survive, how to take decisions on their own without depending on the government, how to handle those situations uh, without, kind of being fearless? I don't think so. We have, done anything for those children. So I felt building those life skills that would place their creative strengths to work and face these kind of situations, and to create a path to bridge the gap of theoretical knowledge and use it to practical purpose. We never allow children to face any challenges. We try to safeguard them and always put them in a place where they're very comfortable. We want our children to be happy. Why? I mean, I think so. This is what I was looking, a place where they can uh, kind of face challenges, get into problems, and people who can support them to face those challenges. I wanted a place where children are empowered with the support of facilitators. So then I got the answer of why and what, then how. How did I execute? So this is something which is really interesting. So after I understand the need, I went looking for the process, the execution process. I created my own objectives, specific and simple, and identified whom to approach for executing these objectives, the experienced people, because I was very new to that. This journey at all. Never heard, my family and me, we had never heard of all these things. So, which was very new to me. So, meeting people, explaining the requirement, I looked out for improving my chance of learning and implementing objectives. After understanding, I looked out for action plans and ensured my objectives are realistic, not something which is not possible. I used my learning and implemented it immediately and was trackable using time skills, keeping regular contact, showing consistent commitments was what were important. I ensured support for continuous review and regular follow up, and also had one on one conversations. I think this kind of continuous effort really helps any person who's seeking and wants to get into this job.
Okay, so if we try to understand the how part in a little more, and also there is another point while listening to you was that in our community we often get these questions where parents they feel an obstruction or they feel a problem is there and they immediately go for a solution without bringing up these three important questions: why, how, and what. So I think this is a very important point to note here, that we need to ask these three questions before we come to a conclusion, which has came out in a very nice way. So, Indira, please tell us how you did the homeschooling for your own child. Was there a curriculum at home? Was there a syllabus that you were following? Was there facilitators, tutors, or was she going to a center to study? What was that?
Yeah, initially when I planned for my son, it was like I didn't have anything in plan. I was just allowing. I used to take him to the places wherever I used to visit. I used to tag him with me, do a lot of road schooling along with me, and I used to. There were many homeschooling meetups which was happening, so I used to take him there. I never really bothered about curriculum at that point of time because he was just 6 7 years. So I was in an exploring mode, but learning used to happen in a very informal way without experts, and that's where this thought came. Like I realized that there were very few groups, homeschooling groups, and the timing was always not regular. It was once in a while. Though there was a lot of resources, socializing was something which I was feeling that that was the gap which I was experiencing. So having these experiencing these learnings led me to become more fearless, and the thought of creating a big got initiated with the guidance of mentors. So when I used to go and share that this is what this the group team meetups is not happening, the homeschoolers meetup is not happening, because I felt that generally most of the homeschoolers are very individual, very independent. uh, okay, that thought process. But somewhere I felt peer-to-peer interaction different, because I can teach few things, another parent can teach another something which can be integrated and taught to the child. So I felt there is a need for a space. So because when I shared with my mentors, this the thought of creating a forum came in. I So that's the reason I felt that Abik should be created. So I created the mission of Abik because of this reason, and this provided grounds for challenges, and Abik was set up. So, as I steep to create this space for my son, Sriram, like minded parents looking for similar spaces for their children joined to support me in this journey. And very informally, we used to meet here in parks and grounds and sometimes hotels, sometimes in different houses. We used to have 1 week, I'll come to plan accordingly, different like south zone, north zone. We used to all meet up in garages, in a very informal places. So then we all discussed that we where the same challenge was expressed from everybody. So then I felt, okay, now everybody with that specification, they also were very scared, very kind of had those fears in their mind, like without a place, without a forum for a homeschoolers, how do as many I used to meet many aspiring homeschoolers like me. So they were like, how will this journey go? A lot of fears were there. So then having all these experiences with me, then greatly inspired by Swami Vivekananda, I wanted to build a character building education system. So I felt this is a good opportunity to start one. So as Vivekavani inspires one to arise, awake, and be fearless, that statement is something which pushed me to uh, start this. So it was a natural manifestation to name my humble little space Abik, meaning fearless. I felt being fearless is something which is really needed for all the parents. So Abik was evolved over several months of self exploration, open interaction with inspiring people, understanding the dark side of the space, building a team of people with similar conviction and beliefs. I'm grateful to have met people from different alternative learning centers along my journey. Few to name is Arohi, very much inspired by Aditya and Ratnesh, Valley, Shibumi, more like this, many like this. Marudam. I used to travel, I used to simply the moment I used to get to know any new place, I used to simply go without even waiting. I immediately has to book a car, go with my son. I used to travel in bus, I used to travel in train. That longingness and that excitement was always there. So at the same time, some interactions made me more cautious as I realized I was being cornered. Where we boast about building an open space for learning for our children, it was saddening to see the rigidity of some comrades. uh, I look at alternative and open schooling space to be an equal opportunity space for all. It is not only for children, it can be for teachers, parents, and learners to grow and live together in harmony. Being judgmental does not have space here, but I also had to face many like that. Through this journey, I have learned the art to look at the positive aspect of the people I meet and not judge the totality of the person. So that's how I'm able to go forward. Starting and running Abik was like driving on Indian roads during peak hours. One is constantly making decisions every second to reach the destination. To make the journey pleasurable, one must look forward or immediate sideways or gentle cross humps. No, that's the experience we have in this journey. So a lot of corrections need to be done then and there, different opinions, different perspectives. Anyway, all through the ups and downs, my convictions and strong willpower brought me here to stand before you, and the experience teaches you to be a better driver. I feel that matters a lot. At Abik, we aim to allow both ancient wisdom and modern vision to flourish side by side and appeal to both young and old from wide spectrum of society to become global citizens. The child is directed to identify the purpose of life without losing the performance time. Like inspired by Jiddu Krishnamurti at Abik, we do not follow any ideology. Ideologies, I feel it leads to a lot of conditioning and further so leads to expectations. So here the curriculum here is directed towards seeking satisfaction from the learning journey rather than looking forward to the structured or obvious end results. As we walk ahead, I wish to take along educators to be learners with children and to emphasize on character building over intellectual stuffing. As a team, we aim to guide the children to become an asset to the society by being sustainable, again, being very sensitive to Earth, Mother Earth, and be a mindful human being. Abik Academy started with a think tank to explore and elevate the learning system, which leads to a meaningful life. Because homeschooling is all about, you don't have it's beyond a classroom. So having that in my mind, I also had a mission without for Abik. It's like a mission without a mansion. I was not dreaming for a huge infra and all that. That was my dream. So the USP of Abik is also off-campus learning. That's how this idea evolved, because we always had meetings outside parks, hotels, and as I mentioned before. So that was very, interesting. You meet different people, different and a lot of people who support this. You will meet wonderful people in this journey. So I wanted to create my own pathway and create a platform for homeschoolers and unschoolers. I wish Abik to become an asset for progressive thinkers. So this is how it evolved.
Okay. So I just want to understand the context of the timeline. So you are from Bangalore, and the journey of your son started first. So can you give us the idea of the timeline? Like 10 years back, you started the journey with your son being homeschooling, and then when he came in which year? So give us the context of this timeline.
Yeah, 2011, I was running a Nurture International Preschool. That is a different story, not because of homeschooling. I just wanted to have my own space because I never had the plan of homeschooling him before. So I was a facilitator and I was working for global classroom curriculum, wherein I used to go and talk about curriculums in different schools. So I had to leave my son in one of the school where the child was not not getting adjusted to the child, to the space, to the new space, and he was crying continuously. And still, the management was not that worried, and they never used to allow parents to come inside. And it was just the beginning. And oh, I had paid my first installment. They were more focusing on my second installment than the child getting adapted to the new environment. So that was something which really, I know I didn't like the way they handled things. And I shared it with Sunita Gandhi, the founder of Global Classroom curriculum I was working for. When I shared this, she said, "Indra, why don't you start one in India, in Bangalore? We have many schools in North Bangalore, but we don't have one branch also in South Bangalore. Why don't you start?" So that's how the conversation started. I never planned to start a school. So she supported me a lot, and I was the first franchisee in South India, in Bangalore. That's called Nurture International Preschool. That's how we started, and it was more of an integrated curriculum. Then I mean, I had many other preschools which was surrounded, and the way they used to run and the way we were, parents used to compare, like that school they do parents day, grandparents day, color, red color day, pink color day, and you don't do all these. They have PTMs, you don't have PTMs. They're making the children right. Your school is not allowing to making the they're making children right. So all these comparisons and all this came up, and I felt, oh, this is the kind of, the moment you put the board school, these are the kind of expectations, wherein global classroom curriculum never emphasized on this kind of rigidity, kind of that they need to write. And though they have wonderful, even now I follow that, it's a wonderful curriculum. It's a good resource for any homeschoolers. So then and then I understood the difference, the mindset of parents, like how they compare and all that. And I didn't want to juggle with parents, because my intention was not to kind of convince anybody and run this as a business. I started this out of passion, and because I saw the difference, how they look at education in my wherever I had put my son. So here I used to allow parents to come, be with the child. If you are, they used to say, if I allow you to come and spend some time with your child, the other child will cry. So I had a question: but if the child is really settled down, why will the child look at other parents and cry? So I really wanted to take this as a challenge, and I experimented at Nurture, saying that I will allow parents. I used to tell my educators and my team, when we are not doing any mistake, why are they scared to allow parents to come and let them be part of it? Let them help us. If at all we have any problem, we will share it with them. Let them also understand. Let them also support. So this is how I started, and even now at Abik, we have parents coming and helping. I simply share the problem, and I feel taking responsibility on yours only if you're trying to if you're planning in any other way, only you need to be really scared. So my way of running school was like this. So when this parents started to complain and all that, so I felt the moment put the word school, the expectations are different. Even though you say that you won't have the freedom to run the way you want to. So that's how I felt I should not juggle with these things. And I closed a week after 3 years that I wanted to homeschool my son.
So,
And
in which year you started Avik and which year you closed
yeah,
down?
2011 I started Nurture. 2014, 13 I closed.
Okay.
After 3 years, I closed Nurture. Then I started 2014. It was not a school; it was just an idea.
Hmm.
And when I said that, many of my parents, they were following me. They're like, Indra, wherever you put your son, we will also join. So I never had this plan of a week also. So then when I was searching, I wanted to send Sri to, I was exploring homeschooling opportunities and alternative spaces. So when I didn't find anything, and I felt a lot of homeschoolers, aspiring homeschoolers are wanting this kind of a space, the idea evolved, and it was started in 2014. Yeah. Abik started in 2014.
All right. Okay. So another interesting point that I can figure out from here is that uh, mm, I see a lot of fear where the homeschooling parents who are just starting or looking out for other options other than the mainstream schooling. I see a lot of fear in them, and I think that fear drives them to decide something very quickly, which can also be very dangerous. So, what will be like, you have gone through this entire experience, you have done similar things, like first starting with your child, traveling everywhere, doing some kind of a road schooling. Then when you figured out that this socialization is not happening, you have figured out how to come up, take the responsibility and come up with your own space, which will not be like a school, but more of a holistic approach towards learning. So can you uh, can you tell us about, the situation when a parent who realizes that, my son is no, my child is not getting what we were looking for from the schools, and they become suddenly fearful, they become suddenly panicked. So exactly what at that moment they try to reach to many people. Right now it is a little easy, but I know at the time when you had started, it was
Yeah.
not that easy, right? So how you used to do that? How you used to connect with people? Was it very tough? Was it very easy? How was your son reacting to that? Because that was something maybe new for him, also new for you.
I mentioned no. I mentioned earlier, I used to go in and start meet people the moment I used to get the information that they are in the same field. As you said, it was quite challenging. Let me tell you, people were not approachable also, and now the scenario is completely different. But then, yeah, it was too challenging. And also, you should know, homeschooling is also is something you think that the answers are outside. You think that you need people to guide, but I'm telling you, homeschooling is something which you as a parent, you as a family, need to figure out what is needed for your child. And I think it's completely tailor made. And if you go in search of it, the answers are all around. That is what I figured out when there was a time where I didn't find answers during that time. So now with this context and now the current situation, it's even more easy when comparatively what I experienced. But answer is still there because you will find your own answers because each child is different, and each what should I say, observation is the key level, key what should I say, how you identify your child's talent, creativity, something you need to figure out, I can say.
Okay, so it's not like what works for you will works for 10 more parents. It
Not
is
at all.
absolutely
Not at all. No, because completely the entire the place where you live is different. The resources available around you is different. The family people support what you have is different. It varies. It's completely self-directed, self-directed, family-directed. I can say it's not self-directed. It's a group-directed journey.
okay. So tell me then there are parents who don't get that much of a time to travel, who don't get that much of a time to explore more possibilities. So how they will find a solution in that case then?
Yeah, that is what, the socialization matters and the community matters a lot here. The homeschooling community, how you are connected with other people with the same journey. Lot of in this journey you will find wonderful people. I have met many like that, wherein they will take your child also with them, with their children, because their children also need a company. And I have done it many a times. And I mean, there's a list. I can't mention two or three people. Well, many people here, so I can't I know mention that. So I mean, supporting you, support them in one way. It's kind of a barter system, and it can happen. That's why you need a forum, you need a community where you are in continuous touch, connected, to take this possible. Even homeschooling is, in a way, is interdependent. I mean, I can say you cannot be completely independent. With homeschooling can be independent, but then having this kind of activities, you need a community. That is where I said no. All these points, all this thought process triggered us to start a forum like this. But I think you should start your own learning spaces. Not necessarily you have to have huge space. You even I have seen people having it in small garages. We have small chapters in Bangalore. They all meet once in a while. They exchange books, they exchange resources. They all plan together. We also at Tabik we do field trips, many field trips. Because yeah, nowadays because of COVID we are not doing. Otherwise we keep doing, and many homeschoolers come in, and I have really helped many of them very informally. They only come to attend field trips. So I think that's how you need to be connected. That's not a challenge at all. It's not a challenge at all.
Okay. And can you tell us more about the day-to-day activity of Abhik? I mean, how many children are there? What kind of day-to-day design are done? Who do the? I mean, you have told some part of it, but if you try to see it in a very detailed way, how many children are there? So, can you
Yeah.
tell us more about Abhik? Yeah.
Yeah, we have around 55 children. And in that, due to COVID, the scenario is little different. Otherwise, other than the regular in-house children, we had many homeschoolers who come specifically for few subjects and for only for experiments, only for field trips, as I mentioned. So I can't give the exact numbers. They come for 2 months, they come for 3 months, sometimes they come for 6 months, and this just walk in. So it was like this. Many informal things keep happening, and every Saturday we have gardening session wherein our Abikians also come, and anybody can be part of that session. And typically how a day runs at Abik is starts at Abik is with a circle time. Then the first half is more of an academic timeline, where then the second half is more of an integrated activities designed for them. Then the other some part of time is assigned for them to their interest. Like it can be music, it can be sports. Few people they take services outside Abik, so they leave Abik little early, and few children they take those services inside Abik. So all that happens. This is very dynamic timeline, especially after the first 4 days. We'll have some kind of uh, a little structure will be there. Otherwise, it's completely very informal, other than the circle time and the first half of academic class timeline for timetable for them to focus more on the core subjects, and especially the peer-to-peer learning at the end of I mean, around 3 o'clock to 4:30. Few children stay back, few children leave. So it's something like that. It's very uh, kind of very informal timetable. Saurav?
Yeah. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
on mute. So we have
Yeah.
got a question. Let's take that question because I think this is a very good question. So Dr. Archana is asking that it's not a criticism, but just wanted to know if homeschooling is not like moving from one government structure to another parent-led structure. The child is still in structure with some sort of an extracurriculum activity. What do you think on that? According to her, it is just moving from one structure to another structure. One is designed by the government, another is designed by the uh, parents. So what's the use? Is there anything better happening to the child because it's the same structure that the child is following?
Yeah, maybe the parent has decided according to the child.
Mhm.
We cannot
No,
judge,
I
no?
think
What?
I think I think the question is here about structured education and non-structured education. Often we see in homeschooling parents prefer unstructured approach where
Yeah.
keeping the child in the center and we fulfill his demands whatever he needs, but on the other side, where there is a structure, we try to feed them regularly with ready-made learnings. So in case when a homeschooler chooses a structured learning, isn't it the same thing happening?
Yeah. Now I got it. It's kind of bringing school to home.
Yeah.
It's simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that is something which I don't believe in, and
Hmm.
I'm not for it. Yeah. Again, the child is coming back to another structure. Simple.
Hmm.
Yeah. The whole
Hmm.
idea of homeschooling is gone. Yeah.
Hmm.
It happens.
Okay. So you believe in that?
No.
Okay.
As I said,
Okay.
the whole idea of homeschooling is gone. Why do we
It's
homeschool?
gone. Correct.
Yeah. If you
Correct.
bring school and bring the system back again and imposing, I think that's even more kind of a tragedy for the child, I can say. Yeah.
Okay. So
That's
I
not the
think
idea of homeschooling. That's not
that's
the
not the
idea of
idea.
yeah.
Right. Right. So you are in alignment with what Dr. Rachana is saying. You agree
Yeah.
with her? Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay. So let's move forward. And I just wanted to know how, uh, you know, uh, you said that you have a son and you also have a daughter. So, can you talk about their individual learning journeys? So, as far as I have understood, that your son was uh, initially traveling with you, then he got a part of Avik Academy and he started his activities there. What about your daughter? Who is elder? Who is younger? And how they are going?
Yeah, my daughter is elder, so that's how all this journey started. So she was going to a regular mainstream school, and I am not from a good academic background. Though I am a science student, I was not a first, I mean, front bencher at all. I was always the last bench student. So I'm not from an academic family. Also, we are from a business family, and she was going to a regular mainstream school, and she was more keen on sports. She was very good in throw ball. She used to be part of many competitions, apart from school. And then, but the mainstream school was not balancing. I don't want to name the school, but generally, this is what happens in many of the schools. They find any what should I say, any talent in that particular child. They try to promote the child, but then they don't give the backup whatever the child has missed in the classrooms. Either they should take some time out and give, or they should guide the child, or they should say, don't worry about it, you are excelling in this particular journey, I mean, what should I say,
In the extra,
talent,
oh, yeah,
talent,
yeah.
yeah. And don't worry about this. But when you start expecting both to happen, and somewhere the child is confused, so which my child was not even coming and telling me. That is what I mentioned. They don't even come and tell that this was the problem which was happening. So she had that struggle. She had that, she was thinking that I'm so initially, even I was, I used to even beat her sometimes. Now when I was not really very, I mean, I was not, I had not understood this journey. When I myself, I was getting kind of confused, and this is how the idea of researching about other methods evolved. So I used to go for the PTM, and she used to simply first they used to praise my daughter. Your daughter is, she has got the certificate. Then she may have to attend another tournament and this that, and finally then they used to take up the marks card and say, "Ma'am, you need to work with your child for maths." I am not for maths, and I don't believe in tuitions because I really had bad experience in my childhood when my mother used to send me for maths tuitions. And when I was in PU, I used to go for physics extra classes. They used to book before only, and there was a huge competition for that also. Other than the college, we paid lumps of money for physics tuitions, chemistry classes, and maths classes. Whole week, morning and evening, and college. We used to have this the tuitions. So I was fed up of tuitions, and I had a different pressure in my personal life. So I didn't want to bring that here, and I said, no tuitions. I'm sending you for a good school. You have any doubts, you go ask them. And but than that idea, I had simple idea that I decided not to send my daughter to any tuitions. So when they used to call me for PTMs, my husband never joined. He never used to join me. He is a completely business person and never really bothers about just marks, scores, and all that. So I used to go there, and I used to see other parents coming in, and both of them sitting and listening to the educators, teachers, what they said. I was somewhere like, "Oh, am I not focusing? Am I not doing the right justice to my daughter? And what is happening?" And they used to say, "Ma'am, you have to send her for tuitions, or you have to sit and teach." I said, I cannot teach maths. So then I don't know, ma'am, you need to do some arrangements. And they used to refer teachers from the same school. So it was all a business. It was all a business. So I said, see, you are the person, you're taking my daughter. So why don't you give some time? for her to learn whatever she's missed. So all this, I used to have argument. I used to point out that questioning was there in me always, and I never leave. Just like I always wanted a question, answer to my question. So that's how this journey started. And then I started. I don't know how I got to know about this. I don't remember. Maybe some article or something. Then I started to read about homeschooling. Oh, even this can be done. Then, though I had read about it, I didn't show much interest when my daughter was. So then I started to work as a facilitator in ILNFS, where I used to go to different schools, not as a regular teacher, but life skill teacher and other projects like a lab, Macmillan's Wordsworth lab, English lab, and science labs. So 20 years back, Bangalore was mushroomed with many international schools. That was the time all these new international school concepts used to come. So I used to go there, and they used to set up beautiful. They used to spend so much, and I was part of that setting up. Then after setting up, I used to go there. I used to get trained for like how to use all those, and I was supposed to train my other teachers. So when in those time phase, no, 3, 5, almost 5, 6 years, I used to go to different schools, and I understood they only invest. Children don't use all those facilities. Seriously, they don't. I used to simply get paid 2,000 per day. Even at Tabik, I'm not getting so much now. I used to simply go be in the lab, be in the lab room once in a while, and I would have started something to teach. Next week they never used to come. Next week another class used to come. There was no rhythm. Every time different students used to come just for the namesake that okay, they're attending, they're using. And not even there was not more than once they used to come and use those facilities. So then I realized, okay, what's happening? Then I used to talk with children, I mean educators, teachers in the staff room. Few schools were so rigid. Now I used to complain about it before, but now I'm thankful because they were very rigid that even if I had to take only 2 hours class in that particular school, I was supposed to go when the school starts at the prayer time and come out of the school only after they close the school. That was the condition in many of the sophisticated schools. But that time I was really complaining. But now I am very thankful for them. So I used to sit in the classroom, and talk to them. I got close to many of the educators. Sometimes I used to sit in the classroom and observe how they teach and all that. Very excellent teachers are there nowadays. We complain about educators. I have seen excellent creative teachers, but they don't have freedom. They really don't have freedom. Half the time their time is wasted on the reports, documents, especially when ptm comes, they're supposed to decorate the classrooms. Then I understood, oh, the logic behind all this, then the beautification of the schools. Okay, all roughly on a whole, I understood, oh, this is what happens. Okay. And the founders, they never had any idea about education. They have money, they invest it. They invest, somebody is appointed, where but that person can't bring in any changes. This is how there's no connect. A lot of gaps in between management, principals, and educators. So somehow all this was there behind me, and even during that time, I never had the plan of opening a school. But all this was, there in my mind. So this is how the journey evolved. And then when my daughter was in eighth standard, by that time I had started a peak. So that's how parallelly, then having that experience, I was kind of inculcating those gaps. And I used to tell my educators, I used to see that they're all have that comfort zone. Whatever I used to see the suffering with them, I try to give that freedom here. That's how this evolved. So my daughter, after completing eighth, she flunked in maths. And I wanted to go and talk to them, as usual, the ptm. And outside they had written all students successfully what did they say, forgot, uh, successfully passed or something like that. But
Okay.
I met one more colleague of mine who is also in education in this field, and his son also had failed. But then the board had written that every 100% passing. And but
Mm.
internally, his son and my daughter had failed in maths. Even his son was part of the sports, and my daughter also was. So I said, outside the board, it says, no, everybody has successfully passed, but here you are calling me to talk to the principal. You know why they called me to talk to the principal? They wanted to tell that they can't keep my daughter because according to CBSE, she had got 40 marks. So according to CBSE, it is passed. But according to the school norms, it is not passed. They have a rule that they cannot keep any child who has scored less than 50%. Even if the child is good at sports. But outside they had put up the board that they're successful, and inside this is what they talked to me. And I had a huge argument with them and figured out, okay, this. Then she went to Cambridge University. Then there was a different experience. That's again a different experience. Then in a different level, international level. So, and lakhs of rupees, and what used to happen inside, and how the child was confused with what we are at home and what is the culture outside. Two different cultures, and comparison of parents. She was comparing with me with other parents. So that's a different topic, then it'll take too long. So then I decided, that's where I decided, my son, not to attend any of the mainstream schools. Uh, that's it. And after 12th, my daughter, she herself, she realized the difference between, she once in a while she used to come to Abik, and she because her school timing, her school used to open in the month of August. So she had that freedom to come to Abik in the month of June and July. She saw all this setup. She saw many people. With me, I used to take my children, whomever I used to meet. No, I used to always tag my children and tell them to listen. I never used to tell them to do this, do that. I only used to listen to them. So that's how she also got to know about this journey. And she herself, she decided that she will not continue with any mainstream school after 12th. And she figured out, I only told that there's another university called Swaraj University. Then she only read about it. She was the one who decided. Many people tell that, oh, you imposed this also in your with your daughter. I never imposed. It was her decision. I always give options. It's our responsibility to tell children that there is another way. This is not the only option you have. So that's how she has done her journey from Swaraj University. Now my son is in eighth, with the regular standard, but then he is planning to take a year break and explore other areas and then give his exams. Let's see. It is up to him to decide when he is ready to give exams. So this is how the journey starts. So I have both combinations, like where my daughter has gone through the regular mainstream till 12th, and my son who's in this journey from his childhood, not gone to any of the mainstream schools. Yeah.
One of the biggest question, or one of the biggest fear that often parents who are homeschooling or who are looking into this homeschooling sphere, they come and they ask, what about the class 10 and 12 exams and the certificates? We do need certificates to move in our life. So I'm pretty sure you also get this kind of a question in Abhik from the
Many,
parents.
many, many.
So how do you answer them? How do you tackle this situation?
No, see, now I'm so confident that there's nothing to worry. I simply tell them, go read about NIOS, go read about IGCSE Cambridge, the details, and see, now the scenario is very different. They just don't know. Once you tell them and explain about it, no, people are confident. We need to give them examples and real time children who have really passed. And I have those examples from Abik itself. This is our third year. Second year, first year we had two IGCSE students who are, after they 10 they are placed in regular colleges. And second year we had two NIOS students who have passed out and are in the regular mainstream. They've chosen the college after that. So this year we had five students. So we have our in-house children who have passed out both the combinations, that is NIOS and IGCS. And I'll also explain them that even if you go through this, you still get seats in the college. There's some schools which I know where they are very open to take people from NIOS and HCSC, reputed colleges, I can say. So because I have little connects, I go tell them, so you can go ask them. There, and we assume a lot of things that this college won't agree, that college won't agree. Maybe initially there's some kind of a rejection, but then when you talk about them, and even the heads of educator, other colleges, now they're very open. So I don't think so it's a problem, but they just don't know. But when we talk to them and we tell them examples, and I also give them little contacts, phone numbers, I tell them to talk to them. I will not sit and explain them everything. I say, you search, you go read. And I'll also, if you want, you're still not confident, I can always give you the numbers. So I do all those things, and that's how, and they are able to convince. That's not a problem. So now I
Right.
don't think so. It's just that you need to open up, talk your problems and issues and discuss. I think you have a number of opportunities.
Absolutely right. One last question is that, seeing the way the COVID has destroyed the learning opportunity for children across globe. Right now, we are having this kind of a war. From a mother's point of view, from a person who has designed a learning space out of her own curiosity and for the local community, how do you see the next 5 years or 10 years down the lane? How the education or the learning of children changing or demanding a change in perspective to both, like the public education, the mass education, because that is another very important part of our society, and also this experimental education where parents getting into homeschooling, unschooling. So how do you see this changing in the next near future?
Yeah, I feel the Indian education system, particularly public education system, will become more child centric and competency based. In a
Mhm.
more positive development, the education system have realized that the children study at their own pace and learning through exploration is lasting and joyful. They have realized it, I'm sure. The number of homeschoolers and unschoolers is expected to increase as more and more parents aspire to give a unique and yet engaging ways to learn for their children, especially from past 2 years. COVID has given them a chance to explore these things. The Finnish and Swedish systems have advanced in this direction in their public education system. Now, people are also getting to know about all those information. The schooling in India in future will be shaped based on individual aspirations and collective consciousness of the society. This, in any case, won't affect homeschooling or independent learning. For the latter, exploration is the pillar which can't be promoted in mass education systems. I feel there's a lot of hope.
Okay. Anything, Indra, you want to add to today's conversation? Anything that you wanted to say? Uh, Now we are open up to that because we are almost 1 hour up and we can close the session.
Yeah, I mean, see, when it comes to homeschooling, I just want to tell one particular.
Yes, please.
The each child comes with a different purpose. Each child with a different need has unique talent and various strength and weakness. Family backgrounds are different. You can in one house you can observe siblings can be poles apart. Different together altogether. What works for one may not work for the other. It is a journey every parent individually takes, equipping themselves for a smooth journey. So this has to be customized and planned, and that is the best way you can contribute for your child, and indirectly you are giving a good citizen to life, to the society in future. I would like to conclude that only a parent can make changes, instead of depending on the system, or the government or whatever it is. If you prepare your child to become a good leader, good citizen, you need to customize according to your child's strength, your family background, your financial background, and plan accordingly.
Absolutely.
And any support in that area, I'm always open. I'm ready to support whatever possible. Anytime anybody would like to reach out, can reach out, and we can figure out solutions together.
Absolutely. So solutions will always come from, help, communication, discussion, and every parent
Collaboration.
collaboration. Absolutely. And every parents need to identify the potential of the child and plan accordingly. Every child is unique, and every plan needs to be unique as well.
Yeah, one
So
last sentence in this philosophy, because a lot of parents come this philosophy, that philosophy, what to follow. So
yeah,
I want to tell them, though the philosophies are different, the collective thought process remains to be the same.
right,
So I strongly convinced that the future of this journey is more collaborative and collective enhancement of the educational pedagogy. So kind of don't worry ki what is right. Don't waste your time in what is right, what is good. Is this philosophy correct? Is that philosophy is correct? So final outcome is all the same. So embrace what is easy and what is more interesting for you as an individual and what is good for your child.
correct. So with that note, we would like to end today's session over here. Thank you, Rindra, for joining today, and thank you all of you who joined us live today, and also who will watch this video later. I hope the conversation between us has given you some sort of an insight towards understanding homeschooling and learning of a child. And we will see you next Saturday when I think Vidhi Jain is going to join us next Saturday live. Thank you so much. Thank you, Indira.
Thank you.